Welcome to Evenings. My name is Wes Biko, and welcome to today's show. So look, first off, you're probably wondering, isn't there two podcasts out there, Wes, from 528 Evenings Media? You are correct on that. There is Cameo. That's a podcast focused specifically on films, filmmaking, everything to do with that. Whereas Evenings is a totally different podcast. It's my personal platform. This is my way to speak to you guys, the people who support 528 Evenings Media, and we are so thankful, my team here, for all the love and support we get from you guys. You're the best. So look, what's on this podcast? What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about some business. We're going to talk about some stories. And, I might even touch a little bit on my personal life. We'll see where this takes us, okay? Now we have a bit of housekeeping to take care of. First off, let's get them bills paid. We have two sponsors. What are they? First off, we have G Technology. What is G Technology? Well, they are a hard drive and storage solution company. They deliver premium quality storage solutions for audio, video production, photography, and the professional content creation market. From storing, transferring, editing, and distributing content, G Technology makes the workflow simpler, better, and faster. G Technology's high-performance portable and desktop drives, they offer flexible transfer and edit solutions, and they even have some cool RAID systems. I'd highly recommend you check them out. My team uses G Technology drives. G Technology is also owned by Western Digital, so you know the products you're getting are top-notch. Go check them out, g-technology.com. As for our next sponsor, that's Alltel Robotics. So what is Alltel Robotics? Well, they are the premier solution in the drone, UAV, multi-rotor, and gimbal-mounted camera market. Are you a hobbyist? Maybe you're just some fun-loving dad who wants to get some crazy videos of your next family vacation, or maybe you're a cinematographer or media production company owner. Well, Alltel has you covered. What does Alltel provide? Well, they provide 7-day-a-week, 365 service. When you need customer support, you got it. Their cameras that they have, 4K, Sony XMR sensors, so you know the stuff you're getting is good. But the biggest thing, the price and what you get. When you buy a drone from Alltel, you get the complete package. There's no buying peripherals. No more spending time at the store figuring out what exactly you need. You pick it up, take it out of the box, and you are set to fly that same day. Got everything you need included. And the best part? The low price. Alltel offers the lowest prices on the market for unmanned aerial vehicles. Go check them out, whether you're a professional, whether you're a hobbyist, no matter what you are. If you want to take your video to the next level, or photos to the next level, check out Alltel. That's AUTEL, robotics.com. Now, as for today's topic, the thing I want to talk about is following your dreams, making what you want a career. What does this entail? Well, there's a lot of people out there, and I'm talking lots and lots of people. And I hear this so often where they come to me and they go, you're so lucky that you made this your career, blah, blah, blah. I could never do that. Hold up a second here, okay? Luck has 5% to do with that, if anything. The majority of it is hard work, and anyone from any walk of life, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're passionate about, whether that's makeup, maybe you want to be a model. Maybe you want to make movies for a living, or maybe you want to be an actor like my business partner, Chris Taylor. Very talented guy, by the way. Go check out his IMDb. Maybe you want to do something like that. Well, you can do that. All you got to do is get out there. Maybe you're a musician. Say you love singing for a living. The biggest thing is, you sitting inside, not doing anything, you're not going to get anywhere with that. But the thing is, when you go out there, you put yourself in the public eye, you do what you have to do, and you make those opportunities for yourself, that's how you get the job you want. Okay, look, I'm going to take you through a little bit of a story here. It's story time with Wes. Sit down, relax, open up a new tab. Of course, this is an audio-only podcast. Go on Amazon, go on Alltel's website, G Technology. And here's the today's story, okay? So when I first started out doing media production, I did not have a company. I worked for another company, a very lovely company, by the way, called B Institute. I'll even go a bit before that. My very first media production job I ever did in my life was a wedding for this lovely couple, and it was one of the worst experiences of my life, to be honest with you. And that made me realize why I did not want to do that for a living, and specifically wedding videos. I'd shot a film or two, a short film, before that, which was this lovely film that actually won an award called My Community. Shot that with some very lovely people, went into the Zoom Film Festival, and ended up winning. But for me, weddings didn't give me any fulfillment. So you know what I did? I dropped doing weddings, and I haven't shot another wedding in my life. Even if my dad comes to me tomorrow and says, hey son, I'm getting married. Do you want to shoot our wedding? There's no way in hell, there's no amount of money out there that I would shoot a wedding for. With that being said, don't get me wrong. If Jared Leto comes to me and says, hey, here's a cool $10 million, you want to shoot my wedding? Sure, of course I'll take that, but I'm not going to be happy with it. So that's the biggest thing, and the biggest proponent, I think, for when you want to make something your career. Stop doing what you hate. If you do not want to work that 9-to-5 job at Staples, and you really want to go and be a photographer, well, guess what? Leave that job. Take a risk and go after it. Okay, so I was working for this company, B Institute. Lovely, lovely company. We worked on a couple commercials, smaller end stuff, and then we got a huge documentary with the Owen Hart Foundation. So what is the Owen Hart Foundation? Well, they are a charity, and it is ran by this lovely lady named Martha Hart. She's very down to earth, a humanitarian at her whole, and the Owen Hart Foundation helps underprivileged youth and families, adults and stuff all around Alberta, and also around the world too. But their main focus is on Alberta. So this all started because there is a professional wrestler named Owen Hart, and he ended up passing away in an accident. It was on live TV, ended up falling a few hundred feet into the ring on live TV, and anyways, it was his untimely passing, of course. So with that, Martha Hart, after the lawsuit, she made a decent amount of money, of course, off of that, and she built up this huge charity in her late husband's name. And ever since then, it's been going strong. They're on their 16th year now, as of 2016. So, overall, it's going pretty good, if you ask me anyway. So we're working on this documentary for that, and that got me my real first taste of filmmaking, where it's like, oh, this is paid filmmaking. Like, I'm getting paid to do something I love. Every day at work, I loved going to it. I loved shooting. Got to meet so many nice people. I met Brett Wilson, mayor of Calgary. I met who else? I met a bunch of cool people, to say the least. And this film ended up going to the Monaco International Film Festival. Won 4 awards: Best Film Editing, Short Documentary, Best Short Documentary, Best Short Documentary Director, which went directly to Martha Hart, and the Humanitarian Angel Film Award for a short documentary film. And this was, of course, on an international stage, screened at the Jubilee, 3 sold-out shows to date. That was right before the 2 Dane Cook shows that he did back in 2014, and the Seth Meyers show that he did in 2015. So overall, it was a pretty great experience and gave me that taste of what I wanted in life. There was the very first day we started shooting too. I went to bed at, I would have said probably 4 o'clock in the morning, right? I had to be up by 5 in the morning, right? So I got an hour of sleep the very first night we started shooting. I was running on pure adrenaline, okay? And that's kind of when I realized, like, oh, this drive that I have for this, there's a reason I couldn't sleep that night before. It wasn't because I was nervous. It wasn't because I was scared to mess something up. The reason I couldn't sleep is because I was excited. And I'm not talking just a little excited. I'm talking the type of excitement you have when you're a kid, when you're 12 years old, and you know Santa's coming. It's Christmas Eve. You do not want to sleep. You can't sleep. You lay down in bed, you pass out for maybe 10 minutes, and you wake back up. You check the clock. It's only been 10 minutes. That's the exact same feeling for me that making films gives me. It gives me a sense of fulfillment and a sense of excitement and adrenaline rush, all wrapped into one amazing thing. And to be able to even make a living off of that still astounds me to this day. With that being said, when I had that urge and was able to get a taste of that, I knew that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I stopped doing stuff that I didn't want to do. And what was that? That was weddings. I stopped shooting weddings. I stopped shooting things that I didn't want to do, and I knew I wanted to focus on specifically films and corporate promo videos. At the time, I stopped doing promo videos too because I was like, I just want to be a filmmaker. But things change. Money does talk. Especially nowadays, now that I have my own media company. So fast forward a few months, I ended up leaving that company after working on quite a few videos with them. Just, a difference in opinions and also too some, downturn in the economy and stuff, slowing down. wasn't really getting the work I needed, and I felt I could do better on my own. So I left the company, and at this time I had a few $100s to my name, okay? And September 16th, 2014 rolls around. And I decide with the last $200 I have to my name to start a company. And that was 528 Evenings Media, which is probably how you found this podcast. And anyways, I purchased a website, made a logo, bought the domain name, everything, and to say the least, it's been 2 full years now. And 2 full years of going at it. What I'm getting at here is a lot of the time people out there, they ask, well, how did you get to that point? The thing is, you have to cut out the distractions in your life. You have to cut out the things that are holding you back. For instance, for me, I never have been, never probably will be, but I've never really been a partier type of person. I don't do anything in my life, in my daily life anyways, that I find distracts me in a negative way. With that being said, there are times where building relationships with other people is important. So for instance, girlfriends. I've dated quite a few people in my life, and that's something that I don't consider much of a business distraction because you are building towards another goal. Whereas something like sitting down, watching TV or going to a movie, that's the type of stuff I don't do. I don't watch much TV. If I do watch TV, it has to be a good show. It has to be something I'm learning something from. And I don't mean, some tangible information, from a teaching perspective that you learn in school that's 100% nonfiction. What I mean is something that maybe it's about storytelling. Maybe it's about camera stuff. One great example of this is the TV show Lucifer. Lucifer premieres actually tomorrow, Monday, on Fox. Highly would recommend that show. That's the 2nd season coming out. First season I've watched front to back multiple times. I love it. Same with 24. But aside from the couple TV shows or movies a year, I don't watch very many. I just don't have the urge to, the want to, and that's because I've cut out all the distractions in my life. For me, on average, right now I'm filming this or recording this at 3:31 in the morning, just to put this in perspective. And as soon as I'm done this, I have an hour or two of work that I still have left to do on a project I've been working on recently. But I think that's the biggest thing. If you want to do something, you have to just cut out distractions and do it. Chris Taylor, my business partner, he always drives this point home for any actors we meet, because there's a lot of the time you'll meet actors and they go, well, yeah, I wish I was doing this, I wish I was doing that. Like, I have a full-time job too on the side, and blah, 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 acting is just my side job, and I wish I could do that. The thing is, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be a YouTube personality, if you want to be a podcaster, if you want to own a media company, you have to just get out there and do it. Cut out the distractions. Maybe that means not going to that party. Maybe that means not going out and getting drunk. Maybe that means not doing some useless shit, going on Tinder and hitting up all your ladies or something, Maybe it means avoiding those type of things and cutting out the distractions you need. And even if it's at a sacrifice for your personal life, don't get me wrong here. The amount of friends I've hemorrhaged in the past 2 years, it's at a very high margin. But the friends I have now who are in my, close circle, I can count them on one hand, the amount of people who I'm really close with. And it's almost like quality control in a way where you hit a point where the people who can advance you as a person, the people who can help you as an individual, help you grow, who just want the best for you, the people who inspire you, the people who keep you going, they're the people who are in my inner circle now. Do you know who the people who left were, though? They're the ones who were trying to distract me, take me away from it, the ones who were selfish. That's what it comes down to, okay? If you want to do something bad enough, just go out there and do it. Just go do it. Make a plan and do it. With that being said, I don't personally agree with plans, and my main reasoning behind that is plans a lot of the time are limiting. A lot of the time business owners get into this weird mindset where they make a plan and they go, okay, look, if I have, let's say $10 million, right? They go, if I have $10 million by the end of 2016, that's when I know I've made it, and that's their plan. And that's what they go into it as. Then that happens. And guess what? That sense of fulfillment that they think they're going to get inside, that lasts for a couple minutes, and then it's gone. And then it's, okay, well, what's the next thing? And that's the reason I'm not a huge fan of plans. I'm more a fan of goals. I like goals. setting some broad goal like, okay, look, I want to make $10,000 by the end of this month or something like that, right? That's an obtainable goal. That's something you can do pretty easy. Or say it's even 10 million. That's something you can do very easy. But when you set a plan of, okay, well, I need exactly this and this and this and this and this and all these different things, all in order for my life to be good, you're going to get to that point eventually. And a lot of the time, you're probably going to miss out on stuff on the way there. One great example of that, let's say, for instance, you're in some relationship with someone who isn't ideal. Okay, but you stick around because you go, look, this is the best I'm going to get at the time. And I'm going to marry this person. I don't plan on being with anyone else. And it just so happens you keep going through life. And one day you're sitting in Starbucks. You don't want to get married to this person, but that you think that's your grand plan that you need to do. And, some cute girl comes and sits down beside you. You have a great conversation. You hit it off and you feel something in your heart, but you go, well, I have that plan. I don't want to break that plan. I mean, I know I was going to marry this other person, and that's the plan I already have said. I'm going to work this job. We're going to have a little dog named Jimmy. That's why I feel plans are limiting, is a lot of the time you'll sacrifice things that could benefit you going forward. And, don't get me wrong. As I said, there's nothing wrong with goals. Goals are a totally different thing than plans. Plans are more so something where that's set in stone, whereas goals are something that's flexible. Because look, say what happens is you make a goal. You go, okay, well, I want to make $10 million by the end of this year. You get a month away from that goal. You go, we're only at 5. Then you downsize that goal. It doesn't change the end result. That's just a smaller goal, a smaller stepping stone. If you want to, let's say, for instance, you're working out, okay? And you go, well, I want to do 100 push-ups. I want to just do 100 push-ups, okay? When you're sitting there doing them, okay? And if you think of it, okay, I'm going to do 100 in a row, that's when it gets hard. And that's the plan. That's what a plan is, literally. You have a plan to do 100. But then when you set goals and you go, okay, look, I'm going to do sets of 25 each. Okay, so I need to do 4 sets of 25. I'm just going to go 25, take a break. 25, take a break. 25, take a break. 25, take a break. You get to 100. Those are goals. Those are small stepping stones that get you there because they motivate you even more. Because then when you achieve one small stepping stone, that helps you achieve the next one and the next one and the next one. You build up more and more and more momentum and confidence. Confidence is the biggest thing in business. Realistically, in my personal life, I am not that confident of an individual. I am in some aspects, don't get me wrong here. If I'm talking to certain people, of course, I'll be a bit confident, a little bit cocky too. But the majority of the time, when it's me alone in a room, a lot of the time, I'm not the most confident individual in the world. But when it comes to business and I have to talk business with someone, well, I am one of the most confident guys in that room. I'm the one who's leading the conversation. I'm the one who's speaking my mind to them. And I'm the one who's selling water to a fish, literally. And what that comes down to is because of those small goals you build up. Because when you set a big grand plan, that's when things get pushed back, where you lose momentum, you lose inspiration, and things like that. And it's the same with any industry you're in, whether that's you trying to lose weight, whether that's you in terms of money, in terms of savings, anything like that. You're always going to run into that. And that's why I try to stay away from actual plans. Now back to the main topic, now that we covered that. How the hell do you go from point A to point B? When you're at point A where you just quit your job at Staples. And you go, okay, well, I want to be a professional photographer. How do I get to where that needs to be? You set small goals. You set a business plan. Okay, so you go, well, look, for my end goal is I want to be able to make a living off of doing photos, okay? And in between that, you have 4 or 5 different small stepping stones that you need to achieve. Now, what are those 4 or 5 small stepping stones? Well, realistically, the first one is going to be something like, okay, I want to learn how to operate a camera. How the hell do I even use a camera? Because I've never used a camera in my life. And that's the thing you got to do. When you want something bad enough, you got to be willing to take those sacrifices. Look, when I started my company, as I said, I had $200 to my name. I took those $200, I bought a website, I bought a hosting plan, and from a business perspective, and from a perspective of an average individual, spending your last $200 that you have in your bank account, where your bank account hits zero, that's not a comforting thought. But what it is, it's the scarcity. It's the scarcity that causes the drive. Think of it like this, okay? When you don't have money, you typically want money and you work pretty hard. Or let's say your mom's in the hospital, right? Someone in your family's sick, and you need extra money to help provide for your brother and sister. You're going to work your ass off at whatever job you have, even if it's working at a diner. Even if it's working at your local McDonald's or your local gas station, you're going to work your ass off. And the reason why is because of scarcity. Scarcity will always breed not just innovation, but inspiration. And it'll push you forward. It'll keep you dedicated. A lot of people are scared of taking risks. And one of my favorite quotes is by a man named Casey Neistat. And it goes a little something like this. It goes, the worst thing you can do in life is to not take risks. When you set a safety net, when you set some fallback, you're never going to achieve your goals because there's always an option out. There's always an option out. Okay, look, there's another one of my favorite quotes by this man named Chael P. Sonnen. He's a UFC fighter. Love this guy, inspirational as hell, somebody who I try to aspire to be like. And he basically says, there's always, people say failure isn't an option, but it's always an option. It's the most readily available option, but you can choose to win or you can choose to fail. And that's the thing, like a lot of people want to eliminate that, not the fear of failure, but the possibility of failure. They want to eliminate that completely. So there's no chance of failure. But when you do that, then it makes it a lot easier when times get tough to be able to fall back to that job at Staples, to fall back to that life you were living that you didn't like. Whereas when you push yourself into that area and you give it 100% your all, you're always going to get 100% back. That's how it always works out. It's like working out at the gym, okay? You go to work out at the gym. If you're dogging it, you're putting in 40% effort, you're going to get 40% return. But when you go there and you put in 100% return every single day of the week, you get up at 6 in the morning, you go for that run. You get up at 6 in the morning, you go and lift for a couple hours. You're always going to get 100% return. And that's the biggest thing here. When it comes to starting a business, when it comes to making your passion, whatever it is, if it's a hobby, your job, the only way you can do it is by eliminating those safety nets. And I used to be at the camp where I thought, okay, having a safety net is a good thing. I used to always, when I started my company anyways, it was, okay, well, worst comes to worst, if filmmaking falls through, I have photography. If photography falls through, I have graphic design. If graphic design falls through, I have film legal work. If that falls through, then I have, I have something else, whatever that is. There's a billion different things of what ifs, and setting more and more safety nets. Or, for instance, my family used to always tell me, like, it's a cutthroat. My grandma always says this to me. She always says, it's a cutthroat business out there. Working in the film industry, it's a cutthroat business, Wes. You sure you really want to do this for a living? The thing is, even though it is a cutthroat business, when you eliminate those safety nets, the potential that you grow as a person, as a business, and as a creative individual is insurmountable. It's something that you cannot even explain or articulate. Okay, because when it comes down to it, for me, when I started off this, I had that safety net there. I was dogging it because there was always that option of, okay, if this doesn't work out, I can go back. But now I've completely eliminated that safety net. There's not really any chance that I'm going to go to school for something. I never went to post-secondary, by the way, for those of you wondering. But when you don't have that safety net in the way, that escape, that's what makes you work harder. And ever since I got rid of that, my business has been booming. I've been getting clients, daily type of thing. I've been making a living now. Whereas before, when I started it, and I'll just disclose this a little bit to you guys just for the purpose of clarity. But when I first started this company, I wasn't making much. I was making I think on my 2015 tax return, after deductions, I made I think it was $300 to my name after deductions. It's after bills, phone bills, rent, whatever it is, camera equipment upgrades. but I wasn't making much money. Whereas nowadays, and I don't want to disclose a number because I'm not really a type of guy who likes name dropping or number dropping here, but I'm making a living, and I'm making a decent living where I can go to a restaurant every day of the week, let's say, and I could eat at a restaurant every day of the week if I wanted to. I'm not the type of guy though, but that's kind of where I've got to, and that's because of dropping that safety net. And now that I don't have that safety net in place, it makes me work a hell of a lot harder because I know there's no going back. I've dedicated 100% of myself into this. 99% of the stuff I do in my life is all for the company. Even when it comes down to relationships with people who I'm friends with, people who, let's say I want to date them, right? If they have no benefit to me on a creative level, let's say, somebody start dating somebody and they kill my creativity. There is no reason why in the hell I would stay with them. Okay? Because at the end of the day, if you have those people on your team who don't support you, if you have people who limit you and hold you back, you're going to always be stuck in the same place. There's a good saying where if something's not broke, don't fix it. And that's very true with us. If you have friends out there who make you feel creative, friends who push you forward and say, hey man, you can do it. You want to be an actor? Go out there, you get it, because you are successful, you are strong, you are smart, you are intelligent, and you are eloquent, and you can go out there and you can get it done. Those are the type of people you want in your corner. The thing is, there's a difference too between having yes men and people who support you, okay? The people who support you will tell you when you have a shitty idea. And I've been in that place, and while it does suck, it is one of the worst feelings in the world when you tell one of your friends a great idea. And they just shut it down and go, Wes, that is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. Chris Taylor did that to me once. Actually, I had this brilliant idea of a homeless man finds the cure to cancer. And Chris shut that down immediately. And that's the type of friends you need in your life. The people who will tell you when you're making a stupid choice. The people who will help lead you in the direction you want to go. And the people who will have your back always. When I started my company, I didn't have a ton of money. There was times where I went out for dinner with my friends. I couldn't pay for it. But you know what they did? They had faith in me, and they knew one day I was going to pay them back for that dinner. I would take them out to dinner, and they'd pay for me. That's because they see potential in it, and that's the thing I always look for in everybody who I bring into my life, whether it's a friend or a girlfriend anyways. It's always looking for potential. In life, you're not meant to stay in the same place. You're not meant to be the same person you are day in and day out. If you were to look at from 2014 till now, the type of person I have evolved into, they're two polar opposite individuals. One of them was unconfident. One of them had no clue how to run a business. And nowadays, one of them is running a business, is making a living, has 3 wonderful employees, by the way, which I love each and every one of them. They're excellent human beings. And they're people who I personally consider my friends. Shout out to Colby, Caden, and Chris Taylor. But that's what it comes down to. You evolve as a person. And you got to see room for growth. With a company, this is a great example here. UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship. Most of you know this, what that is if you've ever been to Boston Pizza on a Saturday night. What UFC is, it's fighting. Okay, it's fighting. It's not that lame boxing shit. It's the real man sport. The real woman sport even. Small gloves, exposed fingers. It's wrestling. It's every genre, every sect of martial arts put together into one fabulous show. The UFC was recently sold, and it's sold for a large margin. If I recall correctly, and I'm just going to look this up real quick, I want to say it was $4 billion they sold for. So it was $4 billion. The UFC sold for $4 billion to William Morris Endeavor and IMG. So this is a great example of that. When somebody goes to buy something like the UFC, they don't buy it because they want to keep it the same. They buy it because they want to take it to the next level. They see potential in it. They see growth. It's the same thing with a relationship. You don't date somebody who you think you can't spend your life with. I mean, if you're going to get stuck with somebody who is going to be the same exact person and you don't see any potential in that, Why the hell would you do it? Why the hell would you do that with a business? If you're working that dead-end job at Staples and you go, well, look, there's no way I'm going to get that promotion. And even if I get a promotion, going up from $10 an hour up to $15, that's not enough for me to make a living or live the lifestyle I want to do. That's why you become a business owner, is because you want to live the lifestyle that you want. I was told this by one of my old bosses, this guy named Colin Stover. Colin, he's an excellent businessman. He has a lovely website you can check out too. It's called The 20-Something Entrepreneur. I'll try to throw a link down in the description. But anyways, Colin told me one day, I was asking him a little bit, this was actually just a month or two ago, about business and not feeling guilty for charging clients a premium when you do good quality work. Because when it comes down to it, a lot of the time with any company, you're upselling product, okay? You're making a massive return on your cost. You do not, if you're a business owner, you're not going to go out there and try to just make your money back. You're not going to get anywhere when you just make your money back, okay? What you're doing is you're upselling that. So for instance, let's say a hard drive company, right? Let's say they sell a drive for, $100, okay? Realistically, it's probably costing them $20 to make that product. That includes R&D time, that includes manufacturing time, that includes, packaging, shipping, all that stuff, all for the low price tag of $20. So they're upselling that, okay? So they're making $80 on every sale, which is a great value when they're only spending $20. That's a whole 8-fold increase, which is pretty crazy. And that's the thing you do as a business owner. So I felt a little guilty about that for the longest time, because there's a lot of, the thing is you have to separate the people who are your friends and the people who are clients, okay? You can be friends with your client. You can have clients who are friends. But at the end of the day, you're a business owner. And for you charge the prices you do so they can facilitate the lifestyle you want to live. Maybe that means you want to have a yacht, okay? And you know that if you want to have a yacht, you need to make $1 million a year, $1 million plus a year, okay? The prices you garner, the prices that you deserve and that you give to your clients, they will reflect that lifestyle that you want to live. How else are you going to get to that lifestyle when you're not doing what you have to and not valuing yourself? Look, that's what it comes down to. If you want to make, your own company, if you want to do a hobby as your job, go out there and do it. Just make it happen. The thing is, take that leap of faith. If that means quitting your job, if that means investing in something, then go for it. Go for it and do it. That's the only way you're going to get there, because when you set up safety nets, when you think, maybe tomorrow, maybe if I had this or that or whatnot, you're not going to get to that. And set small goals. Don't set the big ones, because you're not going to achieve the big goal right away. You're never going to achieve the big goal right away, no matter what. You got to set the smaller ones, because it keeps the stone rolling. It always keeps the stone rolling. And when that stone starts rolling, guess what? It ain't ever going to stop. It ain't ever going to stop. That's all it comes down to. So if you're out there listening to this, if you're feeling inspired, if you're feeling, maybe you're not feeling inspired, go listen to some Tony Robbins. I love that guy. Wonderful motivational speaker. Somebody I personally listen to almost daily, a couple times a week, when I need a bit of motivation, especially from a business perspective. His views on business, he has this lovely story he tells about he had $20 left to his name, okay? And he decides to go to this all-you-can-eat, salad bar. Goes there, gets all-you-can-eat salad, it's $3. Pays for his thing, and he has $17 left. So he takes that $17, and he's sitting there wondering how the hell is he going to pay his rent. He didn't even take his car because he couldn't afford the gas to get to the restaurant. Okay, so he walked there. And he sees this little boy walk into the restaurant dressed in a suit, holds the door open, and this lovely lady walks in through the door. And it's the kid's mom, right? And he's all dressed to the nines, mom's all dressed to the nines, and they sit down at a table. And Tony goes over to him and says, to the kid, and of course I'm paraphrasing here. You guys can go actually listen to the real Tony story if you want to hear directly from him. He basically says to the kid, I think that's, what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. I think it's really great that you're treating your lady so well. So are you taking her on a date? And the kid kind of jokes about, oh, no, that's my mom, that type of thing. And he goes, oh, well, I think that's really sweet. You're buying your mom lunch. And the kid goes, well, I don't have any money, so I'm technically not buying my mom lunch. The kid's like 10, if that, right? Tony goes, yeah, you are. Reaches into his pocket. That's $17. The last $17 to his name he gives to the kid. Okay, he gives it to the kid. And he walks right out of the restaurant. Doesn't ask for the mom's number. Doesn't hit on her. Doesn't even make eye contact with her. Just leaves the restaurant and just trying to affect the life of another person because of what he felt in the moment. Fast forward the next day. So he gets home later that night after this encounter. He feels horrible. He feels dreadful because he just gave away his money. He doesn't know where the hell he's going to get his money to cover his rent for the next month. Out of the blue the next day, he gets a letter. And in that letter is a check and some money that somebody else owed him. Now look, I'm not a huge believer that just positive thoughts will get you somewhere. You got to put in the effort. But at the same time, I feel giving it your all, and sometimes taking those risks and just following your heart, even if that means giving up that last bit of money, doing something for someone else, or in my case, it was investing the $200 I had to my name into a website. Sometimes you have to do those things to get to where you want to be. So quit that job. If you're out there, if you're listening to this and you want to be in a position by the end of this year to own your own company, hit me up. You know my website. It's 528evenings.com. Hit me up. Go to the contact us. It goes directly to me. And we can do some talking. I'm 100% on board to give you whatever advice you need. For me, that's just what worked. And to take a page from Tony Robbins, too, this is another reason, too, why I'm making this podcast. He says, go out there, look at people who are successful. The people who are successful, they got there by trial and error. That's the thing. You're going to make stupid choices. You're going to fail. Failure is one of those things you got to not be scared of. I always remember this where I was dating this lovely young lady, and her dad asked me, he says, Wes, what is your secret to, this is when my company just started. This was back in the start of 2015. And he asked me, he's like, what's your secret to doing all this? Because like most 18-year-olds haven't done this yet. So like, how the hell are you doing this? And my biggest answer was not being scared to fail. I used to be terrified of failure. Failure used to terrify the hell out of me. You know what? If I was at school, being terrified of failing that exam, being terrified of not getting the grades you needed, being terrified of, screwing up something. Hell, I remember this one time I was at my uncle's farm, and I had to take out the garbage, and I didn't know exactly where to put the garbage, and I was freaking out about it, because I'm like, what if I put the garbage in the wrong place, and the garbage man misses it? I was terrified of failure. The biggest thing is in life, you don't learn anything unless you fail, and failure isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Maybe your relationship fails, right? And I think most of us can agree with this. You learn the most about yourself in that time immediately after a relationship fails. At the start of it, it sucks. It's horrible. It's dreadful. It is one of the worst feelings in the world. But after that feeling subsides, guess what? You learn a lot about yourself that you never would have learned. You learn a lot about what you want in a person. You learn what you want in a partner, and that's the exact same thing with a business. You don't want to feel that way again. You don't want to feel that shitty feeling, that sad, that inadequacy. You don't want to feel that again. And that's why you got to embrace the failures. Because when you do that, when you're not scared of failing, that's when you succeed and grow the most as a person. Look, getting to this point for me, I've fucked up time and time again. I have made horrible business decisions. I've worked on projects where I made next to no money. I've done things like that, tons of times, or where one great story of this is I was working on this lovely film, was called Redirected Intention, shooting with some pretty wonderful people and talented actors and such. Anyways, I bought a new lens. It's a Canon 10 to 18 millimeter lens. At the time, this was going for, I'd say probably $400, $500. Even right now, I'm just looked it up. It goes for $368 American, so we're talking almost $500 for a lens. A couple days after I got it, I ended up dropping it on this film shoot of this movie, and the lens broke. The lens just stopped working. Now, most people would be freaking out about that happening. For me, I just took it in stride. I went, okay, fuck it. The lens is broken. We're going to still make this film. And I made a kick-ass film. And that got me jobs. That turned into, me making more of a living, which was an excellent thing. But that's the thing. You got to not be scared to fail. I've failed time and time again. I have multiple times. And I guarantee you, every successful person out there who you see, maybe you idolize Tony Robbins, maybe you idolize Donald Trump. Okay, maybe you idolize, I don't know, the CEO of Walmart. I really hope not, but all of those people, they have one thing in common, and you know what it is? They have all failed multiple times in their life. It doesn't matter what background you come from. It doesn't matter if you live in a family that doesn't have the most money in the world. Hell, you grew up dirt poor. And while that'll make it a bit harder to get to where you want to be, you can still do it because it's all about your drive. It's about the drive you have inside yourself. And if you believe in yourself and if you believe in your idea that you have inside, you can do anything. You can make your hobby your career. You can get that girl you want, and you can do anything. Anything you set your mind to, you just have to believe. We're going to end the podcast right here. Thank you for listening to Evenings. If you have any suggestions, comments, questions, or concerns about this podcast, or any suggestions for future topics, let me know. Also, check out our new film, Killed the Irishman, coming out very, very soon. Stay updated with our Facebook page or Instagram page. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you to our sponsors. I'll catch you guys next week.